More Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, you became part of a very big ad that the Trump campaign or somebody put together. I'm not sure if it was a super PAC or the campaign, and you voice it over and you make a comparison about corruption with the Clintons and the Bidens and a dual system of justice. I don't know to what degree that played a role tonight, but certainly it did not deter many people in Iowa tonight from voting for Donald Trump. What's your analysis?
Well, as you know, I almost never write anything down. But listening to the two brilliant people, you just had two of the best analysts on American politics that we have. So I've got 5 quick points. One, this is the people's victory. Despite every media, despite every lawsuit, despite every effort to destroy Trump, the people of Iowa have stood up and said, no, he is our candidate. Number 2, he's the nominee. Get over it. He is the nominee. He's going to win the nomination. The news media doesn't want to say that because they need to somehow hype. Please watch us while we go through this charade. There is no candidacy for number 2. There is no number 2. There are irrelevancies. You get to be the leading irrelevant or the second irrelevant or the third irrelevant, but nobody's going to be number 2 because he's going to dominate totally if you look at the country at large, where he's at like 62 or 64% approval. Trump is not a candidate. Trump is the leader of a nationwide movement to take power back from the establishment. And that's why every time he's attacked by the judiciary, every time he's attacked by the news media, he gets stronger because people go, yep, that's what I thought. That's exactly what those corrupt people will do. And, of course, starting with the Russian hoax, it's just clear these people lie all the time. Finally, Iowa has turned red. When I first got involved in politics, Iowa was a very competitive state and sometimes was a sort of Democrat state. But over the years, Iowa has moved away, and Trump is a big part of this. If you look at who's winning elections in Iowa today, they're Republicans. If you look at which party is collapsing in Iowa today, it's the Democrats. That's a harbinger, I think, of what the next few years are going to be like. So that's my sweeping introduction.
By the way, as a side note, I do need to remind people that when I was in Atlanta, Georgia, I was the MC the night you became Speaker of the House, but I would often be the MC of events that you spoke at. Now, you wrote down notes tonight, just so people understand how profound that is. Every time you were to give a speech, about 5 minutes before your speech, you would call me over and ask if I had a pen. And you would take a real cloth napkin and a Sharpie or a marker, and you would write down 3 or 4 things. You'd throw it on the podium, and that was your 45-minute speech. So that is profound that you actually wrote that down tonight, and that's how far back we go together. Mr. Speaker, I bet you've helped make my life a part of history. I'm very grateful. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. And, well, let me ask you one last question. What about second? How important is it for, say, Governor DeSantis to come in second tonight? It's very close at this time.
It is irrelevant. It's like, being the nicest person in the school while you lose every game. Fine. I mean, he can go home and say he did the best he could. Nikki can go home and say she did the best she could. Ramaswamy can go home and say he did the best he could. None of them are going to be the nominee, period. It is over. If you had any doubt about this, watch the returns come in tonight. This will be historically the largest margin ever for a Republican candidate in a multi-candidate field, ever.
Last question.
At some point, people got to say to themselves, oh, he is going to be the nominee because, not because of him, but because the American people want him to be the nominee. He's going to be president because the American people want him to be president.
Last question. Polls were a little tighter in New Hampshire. You're right, it's a different electorate. Ari Fleischer mentioned that. Last 2 polls were Trump up by 7, Trump up by 20. There was an outlier poll of him only up by 4.
Sure.
Does it matter at all what happens in your mind in New Hampshire?
No. No.
Just
He's going to be the nominee. I mean, look at the weight.
I'm just asking.
So he carries, in a worst case, he carries 49 states. In a best case, he carries 50.
Okay. Speaker Gingrich, always
That's a
great to
fact.
have you.